welcome everyone to our brand new Quest for the Frozen Flame adventure path. My name is Derek Melinda, and we are the Knights of Last Call, joined by my illustrious crew. We've got Bob, who is playing Droga.
Oh, yeah.
We've got Smith, who you know from our Patreon. You know him from some of our other videos on product reviews. And of course, you remember him as our producer, the shepherd of the Wheel of Pain in our Rise of the Rune Lords adventure path. Welcome, Smith.
No one ever talks about the Wheel of Destiny. It's always the Wheel of Pain.
That's true. That's true. Next, we have Tim. Tim is returning, but no wizard for Tim this time. Tim is playing Brek, a fighter. Welcome, Tim.
How's it going? Happy to be back.
And last but not least, we've got another new face, Kaz, who's a longtime friend of the show, a veteran of many of our campaigns. But this is his first time being with us, aside from our episode 0, if you caught that. Welcome, Kaz, who is playing Thron the Barbarian.
Ready for the metric mash, everyone.
That's right.
That sounds like an 80s cartoon show. The Adventures of Thrawn the Barbarian.
Thron the Barbarian.
Yeah.
And his magical
metric mash.
And his metric. So before we got started today, we had a little poll in the chat about based on build alone, what is your favorite build so far for everybody? And it looks like we've got a final result with a clear victory. 40% of you said that Joren the Cleric was everyone's favorite. Although I must point out that everyone was really close to 25%, so it was fairly even. But Fighter, Ranger, Barbarian all coming in beneath the much maligned War Priest.
They know that Aaron was playing the cleric because that might have swayed their votes. That they probably would have voted less.
This character is literally not viable past.
That is true. This is the perfect moment for the. This is the perfect moment for the War Priest to shine because, of course, and you'll have to indulge us. I mean, again, I know this is an AP, but look, it's the 5 of us. We're going to be playing Pathfinder 2, and if you come and you were to sit at one of our tables, we talk a lot of game talk, we talk a lot of mechanics talk, and all that other stuff.
I gotta step away, guys. The fire alarm in my apartment building.
Oh, I can hear it.
Wow.
I'll be back as soon as I
We found the
can.
flame.
Enjoy my chair
found
on
the
the
flame.
snowy mountainside.
Campaign's over. Thanks for watching.
Sorry.
Tim, good luck. I'll
let you know if I don't burn down.
Well, we will know.
Catch on fire. We'll watch it.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a live stream straight to it.
There you go.
Yeah. If we lose feed for him, you'll see like the fire start to build up and it crackles.
So
off to a great start.
Yeah. Also, I want to say a quick thank you to Damien and a really big quick thank you to Donnie for the generous super chats and tips. One of the things that we're going to be doing in this campaign is spending a little less time looking at the chat. We're going to be focused more on playing. So if we do, we're going to take some breaks here and there, and we'll get some opportunities. So we will eventually go back and check out your super chats, your tips, and make sure we give you a cool shout out. But of course, whoever is giving the bonuses, the tips, your names will be right below me, and so you'll be able to see that. But yeah, the Frozen Flame definitely taking that much more seriously than one would think.
We are all in.
We're all in on that. Wow, that's pretty crazy.
Houses now, so
yeah, that's pretty crazy for sure. All right, well. So before we get into it, we've kind of, we had our episode 0, but why don't we kind of go around the horn real quick? And what we'll do is we will start with sort of an overview. And then I'm going to ask Bob, Smith, Kaz, and then Tim, if his apartment isn't on fire, to kind of just quickly kind of walk through their characters. And by the way, if you are interested in taking a look at their characters, there is a link in the doobly-doo below with a link to a Google Drive, which will have a copy of each of the character sheets as they go through the levels of the adventure path. So what are we playing? Well, we're playing Quest for the Frozen Flame, which is a recent adventure path released by Paizo, and in keeping with some of their new tactics. This adventure path is designed for the first half of Pathfinder, a little bit more low level, a little bit more low powered, and so it's designed only 3 adventures to go at levels 1 through 10, which is, by the way, perfect for a streaming show like this. But what about it is that's so special? Why did I pick this one? Well, the main reason I picked it is because of where it's set. It is set in the realm of the Mammoth Lords. And if you're not familiar with the realm of the Mammoth Lords, it is a frozen Arctic wasteland that has sort of these strange hidden properties that allow magically almost or supernaturally that allow ancient creatures that we would basically call megafauna. So things like woolly mammoths, saber-toothed tigers, even dinosaurs to thrive in this very isolated and very, very hidden land. And the people, sort of the primitive ethnicity that sort of has occupied Golarion for many, many, many millennia, the Kellid people, range all over the north of Avestan. But in this particular place of Avestan, sandwiched between Irisin and the witches that rule there, and the World Wound, which used to, of course, be an ongoing campaign 100-year long against the demons, sandwiched in between them is this sort of mythical, forgotten kind of land that time forgot. And the people that dwell there, while they are intelligent and they are honorable and they are proud, they are a primitive people. They follow a nomadic lifestyle. They do not have the same access to technology, metal, production quality of goods. They don't even necessarily live in homes. They roam with the massive mammoth herds that are sort of the mainstay of their groups, and they form these sort of super clans called followings, which follow the migratory routes of the mammoths throughout the land of the realm of the Mammoth Lords. And to become a Mammoth Lord is basically to be a king or queen among men, to show dominance over one of these megafauna, to be in Dune terms, it's like to ride a sandworm, right? Like then you are truly a leader among men. And same thing's true here. So to become a kind of a leader is to become a Mammoth Lord, is to sort of to ride one of these magnificent mammoths or other huge megafauna, or to otherwise sort of dominate one and make it yours.
Dominate it and ride it. Got it.
Yes, dominate it and ride it. And so into this realm, kind of is where we begin to set our tale. And for many, many millennia, the people of the realm of Mammoth Lords, these many, many followings, have for many, many years followed the same paths and lived out their lives. But over the last several generations, spring has begun to come later each year. Winter comes sooner. The land that had this sort of magical sustaining life force has begun to ebb away. And slowly but surely, famine and disease, death has begun meeting and reaching into the lives of the Kellid people, who already lived a pretty tenuous and tough life. And that brings us to a very small following, only 6 or 7 dozen people, less than 100 people, much smaller than some of the great followings, which have over 1,000. And this very small group is known as the Broken Tusks. And we are going to follow the adventures of the Broken Tusks and see what, in this sort of tumultuous time, if the Broken Tusks will be able to thrive and perhaps build a new and better future for themselves, or will they be swept away and swept aside by the nasty, nefarious events that are about to take place. And shepherding and guiding them through all of this are going to be our 4-player characters, hopefully, assuming they don't die.
Or Tim's apartment's on fire.
Or Tim's
Tim might actually die.
You couldn't have planned it better than that. And so we are going to be playing 4 members of the Broken Tusk following, and 3 of whom are Kellids, natives of this land, and 1 who is an outsider, a relative stranger in a strange land, but who has found a place amongst these people. So, Bob, why don't we start with you? Why don't you talk about Droga? Why don't you talk a little bit about what your final character or mechanics are regarding him, but also to what you think about him, and give the people at home an idea of who Droga is.
Yeah, so people that watched Session 0 knew that I wanted to go Ranger, but maybe they didn't know what my archetype was going to be, and we were going back and forth. I ended up settling on Beastmaster for the archetype, and I went with a bear companion named Hunter. So my idea is that I'm this young kid who sort of has been learning from his, and maybe more immediate family to help out with the following, but really hasn't gone on his own yet. And now he's young, but it's time to prove himself, prove his worth. He's very eager to go out and with his animal friend here to hunt, to scout, to forage, and do anything he can to help the following in general. He does want to stick to the old ways. He's not really big into new customs. He was raised pretty conservative by his family, but he has a way of hunting that's a little more delicate than, say, some other members in the party. And other than that, he is, again, a ranger. So I went with the flurry ranger. I'm used to going precision ranger. I want to try something different this. So I'm kind of pew-pewing this session, just give me slinging this longbow. And then if I need to get in there with a couple hatchets, I'll do what I have to do. But maybe I'm trying something new. I've never played with an animal companion. I had a lot of fun watching our old cast do that. So I'm really excited to do that myself.
Awesome. Well, welcome, Droga. We will see if you can meet the medal. I mean, obviously you got big shoes to fill in Asia Strongforge. But we'll see if you can create as memorable of a character. Not
charging into battle is going to be my hardest thing.
All right. Well, next is Mr. Aaron Smith. Yes, by the way, just don't get confused about that. Two members of our cast are only basically called by their last name. So if we hear her say Aaron or Smith, it means the same person. Also known as William Brandis from the chat, if you're a longtime listener of the show, is playing Joren, the Mendevian cleric. So Smith, why don't you talk about Joren, talk about the build, and talk about your sort of thoughts and a little bit of the background of where Joren is as this campaign starts off.
Sure. So Joren is a little bit different than Droga, and actually most of the group, as he's a little bit past his prime, starting his journey in his 60s. He is a former crusader of Iomade, not even from the 5th Crusade in Mendev, but from the 4th Crusade against the Storm King. That was a very troubling time for him, and troubling things occurred, and he left quite dishonorably the service of his deity and the service of his country to seek a simpler life. So somewhat over 2 decades ago, he came and found the broken Tusk and joined him, himself being a broken man. Joren is a war priest, a human cleric. His archetype is Bastion, which gives him some additional use of his shields. So in combat, he's using not his favored weapon, of course, as metal is rare here. And even if he had such a weapon, it would probably long ago have been lost. But is using spears and wooden shields. Now, his alignment, his breach of faith, caused him to lose access to his former deity's power. And what surprised him perhaps the most when he came here was a spirit of warmth and a spirit of forgiveness that offered him a chance at redemption. And so now he is a follower of Sister Cinder, who is known in other parts of the world as the Dawnflower or Serenray. And that is now his patron deity.
Very cool.
So
very cool.
His job is going to be to run up, get in a fight with everyone else who's running up and getting in a fight, and cast lots of magic weapons, blesses, right. And then afterwards, because no one has a healer's kit, he's going to spam heals, and that's going to be it for about 10 levels.
Yeah, hopefully you guys get enough virtual coin, because that's another thing I should mention here. We are using. I need to put that actually in the doobly-doo. That's one of the. Yeah, I included the 2 house rolls that we're using, but we're actually using a 3rd house roll, which is automatic bonus progression. So everybody is going to automatically have their magical or their weapons become magical at certain levels. 2 and 4 are the big important ones. This is a primitive land. There aren't towns and magical items shops, and gold, silver has very little value to these people. In all of the realm of the Mammoth Lords, there's really only sort of one, what you would call a city, right? With like walls and permanent as buildings. And it's kind of it's kind of like Bryn Shander. If you've read The Crystal Shard, it's kind of like, Hard Home, if you've seen Game of Thrones, right? Or it's like Vaes Dothrak, also from Game of Thrones, right? It's this sort of one,
like that.
yeah. It's like one city where it's very much like Vaes Dothrak, where the people can sort of meet, but you know, it is a land. It is a land of weak Southerners and you know, people who you cannot, you know, who have to. You know, who actually have to promise things, and you know, whereas in the in the North, it's like, well, I said it, so it's done. You know, like that type of thing. All right, so moving on from Joren, we get to a true man of the North, Thrawn the Barbarian. So, Kaz, why don't you talk about Thrawn, how you built him, and kind of some of your thoughts about how Thrawn is built.
Yeah, so interestingly, my very first barbarian ever playing any D&D game, and the build really came about in session 0, where after maybe a bit of memeing, we came across the idea of being this wrestler type, a little bit of Boy Scouts action going on. So Thrawn from the house, you know, has always looked up to Grandfather Iwa as like the paragon of what being a broken Tusk should be. So he's got this ideal in his mind that, like, you know, you rely on yourself, you rely on your house to really see things through. And it's the strength of your own arms, not necessarily through some witchcraft or anything like that, that really wants to bring him forward. So as this barbarian, you know, he's taken a bit sometimes when he looks at maybe some outsiders, he gets a little bit irritated because it's like, wait, who are these outsiders to question our traditions and try to change us as a people of who we are? We've always done things this way. This is how we've been successful. And that rage builds up inside of him. And the Yeti spirit animal that I have, ape, but the Yeti spirit animal that I have allows me, you know, that it takes over my inner self, and I just get in there and I'm grabbing, and just my very barehanded approach to every situation, very straightforward, is the way that Thrawn wants everything to do.
Right.
Pachano, if I'm pronouncing that name correctly, sorry.
Yeah, Pachano.
Also, right, from our house.
This guy.
You know, we're a bit friendly. There's been that friendly competition. They're the heir apparent, but I'm sort of the Boy Scout. I've always done things the right way, so why not me? Right? Like, come on, I'm here too. And you know, I've always maybe been looked over a little bit by the families, and there's a little bit of that jealousy that's built up inside of me. So there will be, I think, a bit of that natural attention where I'm going to want to, you know, I see the cleric running in, I'm going to run in a little faster. I see him hit someone, I'm going to hit him a little harder. Like, that's what it's going to look like. Exactly.
Right. Although it is cool.
So I have a question.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Mr. DM, do we have a Yeti clock?
So not yet, because right now, the tumultuous events which are about to occur haven't occurred yet. And then once he is presented with sort of a new reality, a new future, we are going to kind of explore some. Again, we have a list of home rules. I can't promise you that they won't grow. But one of the things that we want to possibly have fun with is this idea that we kind of came up with this extemporaneously. We kind of just were spitballing ideas during our session 0 that, something happened.
What happened?
Kaz
Looks like
moved.
Tim. I moved. Looks like Tim's computer flickered.
It flickered and then he moved up a spot.
Yeah, I think what happened is that Tim's computer must have gone to sleep. There we go.
Or caught on fire.
Yeah, I was like, or fire for sure.
Or burned out.
By the way, we did have a poll in this. We did have a poll in the chat. Will Tim's apartment burn down? 55% say yes.
New check goal. Buy Tim a new place to live.
Yeah. That I'm seeing if I have any updates from him.
I haven't seen anything yet.
You may have had to evacuate if it was like the main building alarm.
I would assume he had to evacuate.
Yes.
Let it free.
The spring. Well, it's been a hard day's hunt. So unfortunately, Brek is had a fire alarm, and you know what? This is what.
This is a good question in the chat. Mr. Derek.
F it, we'll do it live. Yeah.
From Casey Roberts from the Patreon. He wanted to know, is there a narrative flavor that you're using behind the ABP?
Yes and no. So one of the things that's I think is going to be really important is that these characters are very inside, and KC kind of hit on it here too, which is the idea that these are people who are very much in tune with the spiritual side of the campaign.
Oh, and he's back.
Oh, chat was wrong. The apartment did not burn down.
I yet live.
False alarm.
Yeah, something. I don't know. They had the fire department came, turned it off. So
was it your apartment or was it the entire apartment?
It is the building.
Yeah, the building.
Yeah.
So
not on as many people as you would think take it seriously.
Yeah.
All right.
Everyone's like,
the people with kids did though, so
you'll love to hear it. Yes. So as these characters sort of undertake their quest, and they are going to be basically delving into the history, the legacy, the mysteries of this land. We could think of it as that whether it is the spirits of the land, of the waters, of the skies, or it could be the sort of the spirits and the ghosts of their ancestors. They are going to find that they have this sort of renewed spiritual potency, and that is going to reflect in the fact that their armor, weapons are going to sort of automatically be augmented instead of having to track down and buy magical items. That being said, there will be an opportunity for the characters to maybe find unique items that are appropriate for the campaign, but these are going to be more rare finds, not something they're going to be just buying with gold at the magic item shop.
What about potion of elixirs?
Yeah, well, that very, very nice, Bob.
Nice.
Yes, we are working on some nice of last call merch line. Well, that's a very nice shirt, Bob. So Tim, not actually bad timing. We just actually finished up with Kaz right before you got back. So Brek,
nice.
Tim is playing Brek, a Kellid fighter. So Tim, why don't you kind of talk a little bit about your character build, and let's also talk a little bit about how you see your character in the Broken Tusks, a little bit about their background and how they kind of fit into the party and into the clan.
Yeah, absolutely. So Brek, grew up in Otter House, and he's always just been a, outgoing, charismatic, excited dude, just happy about life, sees the best in everything, and, wants to move forward with stuff. So he's brought in, so many members of the Broken Tusk, and he loves his life here. And he's just, ever since he was young, he's grown into this just hulking beast of a man that no one expects to be quite so, nice and charming when they speak to him, because if you just see him walk up to you, he looks horrifying, just because he's so big and right, the gentle giant. But yeah, so he's definitely going to be a driving force, and let's do it, anything for the Tusk. I love you guys, like, all for one for all. Let's do it. So that's very much is going to be his energy.
Yeah.
And now,
sure.
To the build, I went with the, less defensive weapon fighter. So, we've got the double slice build in. He was previously a Broken Tusk recruiter background, so he's got the good, charisma base.
Right. Your free archetype is Bard.
And my free archetype is Bard, leaning more on the, verbal storytelling and, huzzah type inspiration, and not so much on the spells, though, I do have a couple cantrips, but let's just see perfect, purposely only verbal.
Yeah. Very much very much a, sort of a skald, a song speaker is what they're called amongst the Kellid peoples of the realm, right? These sort of people who they don't have written language.
Right, just like the leader.
They don't have books, so everything that they do is sort of passed down through word and through song, and so the oral power of music, of song, of speech is very important to these people. So when you think Tim as a bard, think of him more as sort of a skald, a warrior poet, right? Who
So if we like piss him off, like he's gonna tell bad stories about us to the
oh
rest of
yes,
the clan.
long will the stories of Droga, the not so well endowed, travel
Droga the three-bowed.
Yeah,
three-bowed.
Can we? All right. Before we get it, Aaron, you're still muted.
The loose-stringed Droga.
But before we get into it, Bob, you want to tell us the story of your two bows?
I guess. I mean, I don't know if it's really a story, but I was talking to people on chat about building this ranger in the Patreon, and I don't know. They're mentioning like, yeah, you got your longbow and you got your short bow, and I knew I couldn't use a crossbow, so I'm like, hey, I'll be this dual bow ranger. It sounds ridiculous, and so I just kept going with it. No one was really stopping me, and then we got to actually like build the PDFs for everybody, and Derek was like, am I like misreading something? Like, why do you have two bows? And I'm like, why not have two bows? And little did he know, I already started ordering the artwork, and like my sketch artwork came back with two bows.
Well, the best part is the artist clearly had no idea how to draw this, so he draws this person with the bow, and he's pulling back the other with the bow. And then he's got like a short bow hanging off of his elbow. It's just like
in his elbow.
Yeah, it's just crazy. And it was very hilarious. It's definitely a piece of Knights of Last Call lore for sure.
Oh, so, yeah. I should probably post that artwork actually to the channel, because I still do have it. It's pretty rough.
Yeah. And if you want to take a look at that incredible, amazing, bad artwork, make sure you're a member of our Patreon. I know a lot of you already are, so thank you and welcome. We've got a couple different ways if you want to support the Knights. We've got super chats. We've got tips from Stream Elements. It takes a little extra step to give us a tip through Stream Element, but it helps fill the bar up, and that's cool because that we get a bigger percentage of our Stream Elements tips. So super chats are welcome. Tips are appreciated. But also, if you want to be a long-term supporter, you want to get into like the Knight lifestyle, one might call it the Knight life, you can go ahead and check out our Discord through our Patreon. We have a lot of other options through our Patreon as well. We have $3, $5, $10, and $25 levels. $3 will get you into the Discord. It'll get you, talking with us and having conversations. But $5 will get you access to all of our bonus content. It'll get you into our Northern Reaches game. It'll get you into everything. Our monthly exclusive live stream Q&A, and all that jazz. And if you want to be really, really sick, you can become a supporter of this YouTube channel and join. There's a button below that says join, and you will become an adventurer. And that'll give you
mammoth emojis.
And that'll give you the ability to use custom emotes as well as show your loyalty badge. So I'm just going to take a quick break here to kind of go through some of the tips that we've gotten in. I mentioned before, Damien and Donnie both left tips and super chats. Thank you, Donnie and Damien. Rivo tipped $10 and wants to see Thron, Bubba Clubba, and Yeti smash everything in sight. Bill Muscle sent a $10 super chat. Busal. Can't watch tonight, but I just want to say congrats on your new campaign. Thank you, Bill. And lastly, we just got a tip in from Mr. Ben A himself, Ben Asaro. Ben is one of our top moderators, and he is the level 1. He is ranked number 1. He is higher level on our Discord than me. He says bone chance with the AP. All right. Aaron is having an audio problem, and so he needs to restart Zoom. So it may screw everything up, but we'll see in a few seconds. Hopefully that resolves everything. Boy, what can go wrong is going wrong, but that's all right.
Murphy's Law there.
Murphy's Law. So don't be surprised if the cameras get a little bit messed up, because that's the way Zoom is. It's crazy. You'll love to see it. Don't worry. He'll be back. We'll fix it. So I'm not going to fix this because it'll just be hopefully a few moments. So while we are here, just want to say welcome. Oh, look, he's back already, and now we just got to swap him around. All right, Aaron, can we hear you?
Oh, he's muted right now.
All right. I was going to waste some time, but I didn't even have to do it.
Hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. All right, and everybody's back in the right spots.
microphone, so I don't. It's no longer detecting my other microphone.
All right. Well, you can see that our tip goal is improved sound quality with new mics and panels for our crew.
This is a good mic. I don't know. Whatever, man. When this one goes out, I'll get a third one.
And so yeah, we'll do it. So
Ooh, I'm in the DM spot.
yeah. What do you
All right,
mean?
Cass, what happens? What do we do?
Oh, there we go.
Okay, so let us begin. Is everybody ready? Any last minute questions? Any thoughts and things? No? Okay.
What system are we playing?
We are playing Pathfinder 2. And again, it's in the doobly-doo below. It's in the doobly-doo below. But I want to quickly go over two things here. One is we are using, if you're Derek, hero points are famous throughout the internet for being very overpowered, and we definitely want to continue to get away from the horrible hero point system of Pathfinder 2. But my original hero point system for Rise of the Runelord was very appropriate for that sort of super over-the-top action hero-y kind of style of adventure that we were doing there. Not so appropriate for this little bit more toned-down adventure. So in this campaign, hero points are going to work very similar to Pathfinder 2 hero points. You're going to get to re-roll. It's not an automatic success like it was before. And you can't use them against, you can't have enemies lower their saves or anything like that. But because re-rolling and then getting stuck with a lower roll sucks, we are going to be using the Mutants and Masterminds from Green Ronin's D20 hero point rule, which allows you to re-roll. But on that re-roll, if you roll between a 1 and a 10, you add 10 to the result. Functionally, this means it's like you're rolling D10 plus 10. But basically, you can't roll lower than an 11. So on the re-roll, you're guaranteed an 11. So you have a 10% chance of 11, 10% chance of 12, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that is that rule. And if for some reason you still roll lower, you can take the higher result. You'll never be forced to take the lower result. So hero points will always, they can never hurt you. They can only help you. So that's rule number one. And the second rule that we are doing is we've changed the aid rules around a little bit. In this game, there is an action that you can take on your turn, and it is called prepare. It's one action, similar to ready, which is two actions. Prepare, by spending one action, lets you, in the next turn, at some point during someone's turn, when you see an opportunity to help out, you can jump in and say, I'm aiding them. And you can use your reaction to aid, and you'll describe for us how you're aiding. It has to make sense inside the fictional narrative of our world. And then you will grant them a +1, +2, or +3 circumstance bonus, depending on how you help them, and whether that skill or attack is trained, expert, or master. So for if you're expert, you'll be granting a +2 circumstance bonus. If you're a master, you're going to be granting a +3 circumstance bonus. But there's no die roll. There's no chance to crit fail or crit succeed or whatever. It's just a +1 or a +2, and then at the end of the game, when they get to master, +3. Technically, legendary is +4, but no one's going to get to legendary in this campaign, so we don't have to worry about it. Okay, so that is that. So let's get started, shall we? All right. We are set 3 days before the night of the green moon, the first full moon of spring, when officially the seasons are recognized as changing over from winter to spring. And the night of the green moon is a special one, as it showcases a renewal of the promise made to by Sister Cinder to her people, that life will return to the valleys and the plains of the realm of the Mammoth Lords. And as such, special preparations are being made. Grandfather Iwa, the eldest and most senior of the Mammoth Lords of the Broken Tusks, request was very clear. Hunt and bring back, a worthy kill for the night of the green moon. Not only to sustain the members of your following with meat and to bring back hide and antlers that could be used to make everything from clothing to shelters to medicine, but also as a way to honor the promise of this land, and that by killing a noble beast, you will in fact be taking part in the great cycle of life, which has defined your people for generations and generations and generations, going back thousands of years into the very age of darkness, when Sister Cinder first led your great ancestors out from the caves and caverns where they dwelled, into this promised land. You are joined by the expert scout, the lead scout of the following, whose name is Wippa. Now, Wippa is a very formidable and potent scout. And the role of scout is very important in the following. There are many people within your clan who tend to the children, to the cooking, to the fires, to the mending and making of clothes. There are those who herd and work with the animals. But it is the scout's role to be the eyes and the ears of the following, to be quick and nimble, to go where the following cannot, where a massive herd of mammoths and 80 or 90 people and children and baggage and tents cannot react to dangers. The scouts of the following can. Now, in some followings, numbering in the hundreds or thousands of members, there might be as many as a dozen bands of scouts all moving around the following, moving at much faster speeds than they can in their nomadic migratory route around the realm. But not the Broken Tusks. The Broken Tusks are a small following a great schism that occurred almost 100 years ago, where they broke away from their parent following to form their own destiny. As such, the following has only ever had one scouting party. So to be a scout for the Broken Tusks is to be the only scouts for the Broken Tusks. Wippa is nearing 50 years of age, into her late 40s, well into her middle age. However, she is pregnant, very pregnant, with child, probably no more than a week or so away. And she has been spending the last year or so training you all to become new scouts. That is, everyone except for Joren. Wippa, husband, recently died no more than a month ago, killed on a hunting trip against a group of aurochs, which trampled him to death. He was, unfortunately, one of the other scouts for the group, and a third scout was trampled and killed by a moose known as the Scarred One. And so over the last 2 seasons or so, the scouts have sort of been depleted. And so the decision was made to choose several promising members within the following: Droga, Brek, and Thron, young, strong, capable members of the following, to be indoctrinated into the way of the scout. Joren, who's been with the following for some 20 years, despite his age, upon the death of Wippa's husband, found himself accompanying the pregnant woman on these travels as one of the most well-versed medicine and healers in the group, as well as a cleric. The elders, and perhaps Joren, felt that it was wise that someone who is so trained in the ways of healing, not to mention in a sort of protective sense, would accompany Wippa, just in case anything should happen to her in her advanced state of maternity. You are joined by this gentleman, who is Pachano, or Pachano, I should say. Pachano is a young upstart, about the same age as Droga, Brek, and Thron, in his mid-20s. And he is the great-grandson of Grandfather Iwa and the heir apparent to leadership of the Falcon House, which is one of the 4 houses which makes up the Broken Tusk. He is a arrogant and cocky youth, but he is a very skilled and hunter, and a very, very, very skilled fighter. So, Grandfather Iwa had given you command as sort of a test of your new scouting abilities. It is traditional that a great hunt take place before the night of the Green Moon, and always a traditionalist, despite the fact that so many of the following's scouts have been killed. Grandfather Iwa, nonetheless, entrusted you with this task, stating that Wippa says that you are some of the most capable young scouts that the following has ever seen. So, with the expert aid of head scout Wippa, tracking down the beast was fairly easy with her expert abilities honed over many, many, many years of the traveling and tracking these lands. Pachano, your fellow scout in training, all but whooped with excitement for the hunt. For you would be traveling and journeying to fight against a great and powerful bull moose, known as the Scarred One. For not one, but 2 hunting parties have suffered casualties in an attempt to bring down this mighty beast. Only one was successful, and that was with a spear cut to the eye, which blinded the beast in one eye. Now the beast stands as both a testament to the power of nature, but also as sort of a test or a challenge, a rite of passage for the young scouts. And perhaps it is because of the loss of her husband, perhaps it is because of the death of a scout just this last winter or this last fall to this very same beast that the Scarred One was chosen as your test. With Wippa's guidance, you track the beast for a day and then a day more. And finally, in the forest copse beyond some thick foliage, the dim morning light outlines a lone bull moose nearly as big as a baby mammoth. The moose casts a wide shadow against the growing and undulating ground. The sound of trickling water off to the west intermingles with the sound of the moose intermittently munching on tender shoots coming up through the thawing frozen tundra ground. Your hunting party stands back almost 100 feet, lurking in some nearby foliage. This is our prey. We must not startle him. If we do, and he charges, then our only choice is to run or to die. Her solemn, quiet words are met with a snort from Pachano. The young Kellid's face bearing a perpetual arrogant sneer. Let's just get him. There's 5 of us, and Thron and I are the 2 strongest warriors in the clan. There's no way some dumb animal is going to possibly stand against the might of the broken tusk. Wippa silences the youth with a wave of her hand. The animal is our superior in strength and size and speed. And she seems to look directly at Pachano, and perhaps in spirit as well. It is only our numbers and our minds that give us an advantage. Before we strike, we must use both if we have any hope of defeating this beast. I will aid where I can, but I am extremely heavy with child. I shall not be joining you in your fight against the moose.
Tricks on us. She's probably the one that's going to take it down.
But know that the spirits of your ancestors are with you. And she kind of looks at Joren, whether you want to admit it or not. And the blessings of the tribe go with you. Should you succeed this day, you will be anointed as full members of the Broken Tusk, scouts, an honored position amongst our people, going back until the days of the Age of Darkness, in the Ethgear, before the Sworn, when our people were splintered. Good luck. She kind of takes a step back from her position, kind of seeming like she's willing to offer aid, but for the most part, she is quiet and is waiting to see what moves you all decide to make. All right. Nearby is a gigantic bull moose. What do you guys want to do? Now we're still in exploration mode. We're not in initiative yet. Obviously you guys can try to do things or prepare things, but just be aware that if again, it's not an issue of stealth. You're just far away from it. It's an animal. But if you get too close or you do something suspicious and you're not stealthy, the creature might be startled, and we'll roll initiative, and then we'll go from there. All right. What do we got?
Well, Brek, immediately steps up to try and take charge of the situation of the group, and he's just gets talking. He's like, "All right, I like Pachano's attitude. It's a little foolhardy, but all we have to do is rein it in a little bit. He's right. We are far more capable, but we're going to be smart. Let's fan out around the bushes as far as possible. and start shooting, because like she said, we don't want to take a charge.
Are you guys all as capable with a bow as I?
Well,
I'm quite capable.
At level 1, we're all a little bit more than capable, but not quite as capable. Whippa crouches down low. Brek, I appreciate your attitude, but remember, a successful hunt isn't just one that you survive. It's also one that is successful. If you begin shooting at the moose, it may break and flee. And then we will return to the camp empty-handed. And the night of blessing, well, we're already on the ropes. The last thing we need are the spirits to be angry with us for failing to deliver a sacrifice and a worthy hunt on the night of the green moon.
Well, I have an idea. Brek looks directly at Thron.
I think that
I've
if
seen
we
you shoot before, and you couldn't hit an apple 3 feet away. Maybe we should stick to our strengths, such as strength.
I'll turn to Pachano. While these other thin bloods may have some ideas, I think it might be worthwhile to see them fail first, and then we can step in and help afterwards.
Yes, Thron. You and I definitely are on the same idea here. These other weaklings are not worthy of being called scouts. He kind of like.
That sounds good, boys. You stay back with the pregnant woman, and Droga and Brek and I will proceed forward to deal with the animal.
We had a dog issue there.
The moose calling.
Pachano kind of steps up and gets into Joren's face. Listen here, Southerner. I don't take orders from you. He kind of like...
I brought an extra shovel.
Brek steps in between them and he says, now, no need to be rude. We're all on the same team here.
Does anyone know if this is moose mating season?
You would.
There's one way to find out.
Like,
Is it crazy that I actually have something in the adventure that says imitate female moose?
yeah, that's what I was actually kind of thinking.
Excellent.
I think it's where we have to go now. So
I mean, would that be a nature check? I imagine. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think it could be
performance.
I think it could be performance. Actually, I like performance.
Let the bard take care of this.
Yeah, maybe nature, maybe deception. I don't know, but yeah. I mean, so again, you don't all have to do the same thing, but think about if you were hunting a big bull moose, what would you guys want to do? And so kind of like similar to Aaron's campaign, you guys kind of all get like one set of actions to sort of do and try to get. Now, if you want to get closer, then let's say one stride, you might have to make a stealth check, because if you try to get much closer than that, then the moose might react and it could run away or it could charge you. Right. So,
I think for me, and perhaps Pachano, skirting around to the side so that we can come charging at the moose from the flank when it rucks up against Bob's pregnant moose sounds.
So
probably going to be where we want to start.
Who's drawing the Madden like play-by-play on here?
I think that would be Thron. Is that you, Kev?
That is not.
No,
me.
it's Smith. I think.
right. So we got the moose mating call going on here, right?
Yeah.
Where's the moose in? Because the moose wants some, right? And then at that moment, we all strike. Oh, there's a bear too.
It's like a pincer movement.
Here's the bear.
The bear is the bait.
Yeah.
Right? It's like
we dress it up. We dress it up to look like a female moose.
So no one insults Hunter like that.
I start whittling horns.
Whippa nods her head. She's like, very wise. Yes.
We stick some branches on its head, right?
yeah.
Yeah, we could
I
do
guess
that.
it'd be
Actually.
a female moose. Do female moose have branches?
Yeah, they,
Oh, horn?
in Galarian they do.
Okay.
Yes,
What
it's an animal. It doesn't have knowledge nature, so we're fine. It's not going to know.
There we go.
That is.
Well, I know I can't do an intimidation check against it because my charisma is really
No,
low,
this is
so-
going to be probably Tim using some kind of performance or me doing nature. I think
That
your
that
nature
does.
might be a bit higher. So
Yeah, we need
my
to
nature's only
decide-
4.
oh, maybe not.
Yeah.
My performance is 5. So
Whippa sort of kind of nods her head. This seems like a reasonable approach to bring the moose in, but also give some thought to the creature's possible escape. It may become enraged and decide to fight to the death, which is kind of to our advantage. But it is also possible that the creature may try to break and flee as soon as it realizes that the ambush is upon it.
how deep is that river behind it?
It gets pretty deep.
Like,
Does someone have lore rivers?
No,
Oh,
I took
no.
mountain.
Are
Why
we in
did
the
you
hill
take
cross
that,
region?
Bob?
I literally asked this question.
Are we in the hill cross region?
No, you are not.
Oh, okay. Then I do not.
So Hillcross is the one and only city of the
Gotcha.
Mammoth Lord people.
Gotcha.
All right, can we?
well, so Smith, I mean, do we all have to be in that area? Because I mean, I'm a ranger, and Tim's
No,
going to be doing
I put you over in the other bush.
you over here across the way.
We got
I mean,
pings.
that's kinda far. You could be like here.
These are the pings.
Pings should be activated.
We could use
Yeah.
pings, Smith. Yeah. Well, you want me to be over there? I just didn't know if me going over here helps it not escape.
It might. I don't know.
It's gonna trample over you.
It also might do that.
Well, Whippa kind of leans in and says, especially to you, Droga, she goes, "You're forgetting everything that I taught you. How much time did we spend working on snares and traps?"
Look, I was gonna take that signal snare feat, but it made no sense.
That's not a feat, Bob.
It was an item.
It's just
sorry.
an item.
6, yeah.
Yeah,
6
I'm not
snares.
talking about stupid items like that.
I get very much the sense she wants us to rely on our own abilities.
What I'm su-
For you guys to screw up first. So
Well, I do like the idea of pulling the moose in, but I just know that I could hit this thing from a pretty good distance and hypothetically not have to worry about it.
right, but what she's saying is that if you shoot it, there is a chance that the creature is just going to go, "I'm out."
Which
Yeah,
I thought
we
that's
wanna
why we
lure
were
it-
pulling it in with the moose call.
we
Yeah, but
lure
if
it in
they're-
with the moose
if-
call.
Yeah, they're lured in the moose call. They jump in, but so it doesn't escape. I'm already on the other side of the escape.
Right, but why wouldn't it
Like
just
if-
run past you?
I don't know, because I'm like pew 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 pew.
Moose are historically afraid of pew 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 pew.
It's
So-
pew pew is
Like
definitely
he's
going to
making those noises, not actually shooting.
pew pew is definitely going to be this campaign's new map attack.
Oh.
Bob, epic dramatic moment. Bob, Droga, what happened? What do you do? Pew pew.
All right.
Well, who do we think is best suited to
If not
get
hatchets
around
out.
behind it and cut off its retreat?
I kind
Or
of
can
crack
we
my
dig a pit, a snare
the
trap?
wrestler.
I kind of crack my shoulders. I
Um,
can hold it in place.
It's
That's a bold statement. All right, well, let's do what you guys are going to do.
Mm-hmm. All right.
All right. Brek is I
Gonna
believe he's going to
move.
try to sneak over to where my ping is.
Well, so here's the deal. Everybody can move. Everybody can move one stride, basically for free.
okay.
Sorry, one turn's worth of stride, I should say.
Oh, okay. So I can't get over here.
But if you're going to go,
Is it difficult terrain through the woods?
what's that?
Difficult terrain through the woods.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
All right, that was one stride.
are we
Or
gonna
Brek.
decorate the bear? Disguise the bear?
You attach something to its its hide sort of armor. It doesn't have mechanical armor on, more decorative armor. No barding, but
All right, we stick some branches in it to make it
There
look
you
like
hunter. You know what to do.
Sprinkle some branches on it.
Sprinkle some
Sprinkle
branches.
some branches.
All right. Well, the bear is currently in the woods, so that doesn't work.
Right.
All right.
So-
So
kinda be
Well,
out in the
I just
open.
moved it to where I
All
didn't know where Tim was going.
no. So there we go. All right. So.
Mhm.
Oh, it needs to be like just in the bushes, so where its head pops out a little bit and it's rustling the bushes. a
Oh,
little
okay.
bit.
All right. I got you.
Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
over here. Brek is like right
Yeah.
behind it. There we go.
Yep, yep, yep.
All right.
To roll.
All right. So we've got Brek here, and then we've got Hunter, and we've got Pachano. We've got Joren in the back. We've got Thron up front, and then we've got the Ranger who has moved up ahead, and then we've got the Moose. Okay, and then Whippa's back here, providing moral support. All right. Well, we've got roll for combat in the chat.
I was
so-
just gonna wonder if you're gonna say that.
All right. So here's what we're gonna do before we roll initiative. Tim,
Yes.
please make a performance check as you imitate a cow moose. Now, Tim, before you make this check,
Yes, sir.
I want you to go ahead and give us your best cow moose impersonation, and I will grant you a circumstance bonus or circumstance penalty, depending on how good your cow moose impression is.
I'm turning. it up for this.
All right. Ready? All
Okay,
right.
don't clip the audio, Tim.
All right. Here we go.
I don't even know what that was.
Sounds made by people who've never heard of moose. That's what that was.
All right,
Isn't that
checks
the
out.
Background, like they always play in Australia. You know?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's like,
Yeah, I think what happened is the compressor kicked in and it messed up his audio.
Aw.
All right, Tim, I appreciate
I
the
tried
try.
to keep it
I
low.
appreciate the
Sorry.
I appreciate the try. Tim, go ahead and make a performance check.
Here we go.
oh,
Hey, that's not bad.
All
saw that
right.
one.
Yeah. All right, Tim.
The moose want to mate with you.
The moose becomes distracted and begins kind of looking around very interestedly.
Oh.
So for starters, the moose becomes flat-footed. So that for a couple rounds, as it's kind of distracted by the. I'm gonna need to turn that off.
It's only Smith.
So quick.
The moose becomes flat-footed and begins moving into the what we'll call the middle of the heart kill zone. As it starts moving in towards your bear, which is sort of pretending to be moving around in the bushes,
Shaking that booty.
shaking that booty. And as the creature comes in, those of you who are trained in nature, and even those of you who aren't, you guys have lived here long enough. You could tell that the moose is sort of, ready to kind of. He's distracted. He kind of is. He's looking for this cow moose, but he's also sort of like ready to challenge. Right, like to ward off any other potential mates. You see him digging furrows in the ground as he's kind of stomping in. He's being particularly loud, like he's almost trying to announce his presence as he comes in. And then as he closes in, he kind of catches sight. None of you are particularly well hidden. And then the moose kind of digs its hoofs in and sort of starts making a loud guttural, like a bull moose roar as the creature brings its immense huge racks of land, easily 3 or 4 feet of horn on either side of its massive head. And we are going to roll for combat. All right, everybody.
There we go.
So let me go ahead and turn everybody's combat status on.
I think Tim should use performance for his initiative.
I was thinking that as well.
Tim, totally use your performance for initiative.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's been a minute since we've played Pathfinder. Foundry. I'm not all super into it like you guys. All right, everybody, it should be in the initiative order. So here comes the Moose's initiative. All right, Moose got a pretty low number there. Somebody.
Uh-oh.
Did we get multiple nat ones?
No, it was a 1 and a 2
just
in
the
there.
All right. So we've got a couple of things. I didn't roll for Pachano either. Here we go. Come on, Pachano.
Get in there.
All right. So everybody goes first. So Thron, you react first.
All right. So eager to get into the throes with this moose. I will just immediately charge forward
All right.
to here. I'm looking again to cut it off. That's my job.
Yep.
So, and then I'm going just barehanded. I'm taking a swing, but first, overtaken by my excitement, I rage.
There you go. All right.
There we are.
Yep. All right. So Thron bounds in, and remember he's an animal barbarian. His spirit animal is ape, which we are kind of flavoring as a yeti. So his gray white hair sort of emerges out from his arms and his chest. His arms get large. His forearms and fists becomes overdeveloped and huge as he just basically becomes a big brick shithouse. All right.
And
okay.
my first strike in, ape fisting it right in the backside.
Yeah.
All right. That is as a 24. And this is the part, Kaz, where I remind you that you can hover over a creature and hit T, and that'll target it. And that way you'll see little arrows. And no, it's fine. I can take a look at the creature's armor class and tell you that you hit. But it'll automatically do the calculation for us, and it'll tell you that hit. So, yep, you hit the creature. Of course, it's flat-footed, and the creature is sort of distracted as you sort of rush in, rage. The creature kind of turns, almost like preparing to do a mating challenge with you, and you just straight punch the moose in the jaw.
Well, Thron or the moose get the bear
right across the jaw.
All right. And the moose takes 11 points of damage. All right. Moose takes damage, barely injured. All right. So Thron, that's your 3 actions. So you're all done. That is correct. All right. Next up is Pachano, who moves in, sort of charging in very, very, he kind of as he sees you, he's like, you won't take all the glory. And he runs in, he has his spear. He's like, come over here, you stupid beast. And he begins spearing at the moose as best as he can. And he is going to roll his spear strike here. And he also gets a hit.
Nice. Well struck.
All right.
Oh, man.
All right. Pachano hits the creature. The creature suffers a good chunk of damage. And as the moose kind of turns, and as it's struck, Pachano kind of grins, and the moose kind of bears down on him. And Pachano gives out a shriek and a yell, and almost overwhelmed by it, he takes his 3rd action and actually flees back into the woods. It's like he came in, he pulled aggro, and then when he realized that the creature wasn't going to attack Thron, Pachano was like, and backs off from the moose. All right. Next is Droga.
All right. We're going to hunt prey.
All right.
I don't know if it lets me just drag it in or not.
I don't know.
It doesn't. I thought I could just drag it in to let everyone see it, but maybe I have to actually get my carousel up.
Let us know in the comments or the chat or on the Discord. Is there a good mod that can be used in order for hunt prey to be useful? But I don't think it really comes in anything.
Okay. But it is my hunted prey.
But you notice, by the way, the moose is being turn its head left and right. It seems a little bit confused. It's still very shook up because of the moose mating call.
Wow.
And we'll see what's about to happen. All right, Droga.
All right. Well, I get to recall knowledge.
Yep.
So I'll do a nature check.
Yep, sure do. All right, Bob, you're going for 18.
Yep. Oh, not good enough.
Well, like every other time you've used
Monster
Monster
Hunter is
Hunter.
a mazer.
Yeah, that is a failure, and you don't learn anything extra about the moose. All right, but it is your hunted prey, so what would you like to do next?
I'm going to use command animal to move my hunter, my polar bear companion up.
And
Go ahead.
Yes.
Go
ahead. No, I was going to say, remember the creature is flat-footed already because of the distraction from the prey, but normally that would not be a flank, Bob.
Correct. I'm actually going for what is called the bear support benefit action.
Okay.
So basically when I strike it, then it gets to do 1d8 slashing damage to it.
Do you get the bear support benefit from level 1?
That's what's under a bear.
Right.
It's just a regular action. If it's a nimble or savage, it becomes 2d8.
Sure. All right. I thought you only got that when it became mature, but maybe I'm wrong. All right.
I don't know.
Anybody?
I thought it was
Yep. No, you can support. It's fine. Yep.
sweet. So it's going to move up and then use the bear support benefit, and then I'll try to strike with my longbow.
All right.
And Mr. Derek,
Yes.
am I not seeing the ribbon at the top for my character? Do you know how to get that up?
Nope. I did not include that because everyone said they hated it.
Oh my gosh, it's like my favorite thing. All right, well, we're just going to strike.
You can. No.
You hit.
Oh my
Hey,
gosh,
nice.
There it
barely.
is.
So damage roll, pew. 6 damage,
Got it.
but I get to do 1d8 slashing with my bear.
I accidentally hunted your bear there. I did the damage to your bear. My bad. All right. So the moose will take 6 points of damage from your arrow, and then it'll take 5 points of damage slashing from the bear.
Boom, boom.
Nice.
All right. The creature is looking very, very distraught, but you know, everything has happened so quickly. So it turns towards Thron, and due to it feeling challenged by the performance of the fighter, it is going to spend its first action to intimidate him, using Demoralize, as it bellows down and versus your will DC, Kaz.
Okay.
I got a 24 versus your will DC, Kaz. Your will DC is 16.
16.
Yeah, so you are not critically affected, but you are frightened as the bull moose sort of basically lowers its antlers in front of you, and then it's going to spend its next action to antler you. And here comes the big antler as it smashes you in the face with its antler, and that is a 28.
That is a critical hit.
All right.
Oh boy.
Here comes the damage. 20 points of damage.
What do you have? Oh,
Jeez. All right. You had 4 temp from your
Yes, sir.
as the creature sort of bellows down again, you stepped up. It's going to then raise up its hoof and smash you with it.
Oh no.
This is a map. This is a map attack. Okay. All right. That is the moose's turn.
Who would have thought?
Brek, you almost see Thron, who's like one of the toughest SOBs that you know. He comes in there, the moose is kind of getting shot at, and then with one massive like swipe of its huge head, the antler just crushes into Thron, almost bringing, by the way, 20 damage, I think, would have dropped everybody else to dying too in the entire party. So only Thron could take that hit.
Oh man! Brek yells out, "Let's go!" And he just charges out. 6'7", 220, pure muscle, just running out of the bushes at this moose.
Okay.
If it were any other creature, it would have just fled. And then as he's running, he brings a wide right swing with 2 axes into the creature's flank, doing a double slice.
nice.
So here is the battle axe and the agile bone hatchet.
Well, 12 isn't going to do it, but a 20.
Forgot to target.
Sorry. Which is unfortunate because then you would have learned that the 26, Tim, was a critical hit.
Oh!
With
the hatchet,
right.
still 18 with the hatchet.
18
Wow.
damage.
Oh,
So
that should almost knock it out.
as the creature comes in and begins, crushing into Thron, the creature rears up on its rear hooves, its, massive hooves dancing in the air. One comes down, almost smashing Thron into the ground, and then the creature prepares to sort of like use its horns to sort of dig into him and sort of drag him around and sort of mortar and pestle him. And then Brek emerges from behind in the bushes, and with a careful flurry of strikes, hack, and the creature takes 18 damage from a critical hit from the hatchet. A stone hatchet, and the
Bone
creature
hatchet.
is dead.
Yeah.
Boom.
And slash.
All right.
Great job, everybody. Pachano, way to make room for the flank. Thron, way to survive. That was amazing. And I'm thoroughly impressed.
Joren, you might want to get in there.
Oof.
Yeah. Hey, old man. I think we need you.
The old man will walk over to Thron.
Yeah, it took a liking to you, all right. How you feeling there, son?
I feel like it's mating season all over again.
I think it made it with you, all right. Why don't you take a sit down? Let me take a look at that.
I'm still a little dazed. Normally, I wouldn't be like super friendly, but I've just gotten rocked into the ground. So
Joren helps him gently to sit down on a nearby rock.
Pachano sort of emerges cautiously from the bushes. Did you see that strike I landed on the beast? I left such a vicious wound. It was a good thing that you all were able to take advantage of it.
Surprised you saw it from all the way back there.
It's called strike and move tactics. Those of us who don't have one foot in the grave tend to use them to our advantage, old man.
Huh. That must be why you're not going to make it as far as I did.
Well,
Right.
if
I look at the wound. I ignore the boy. How bad is this wound?
it's bad.
I'm not in great shape.
It would have killed any other man. Literally.
All right. Joren gets a little bit more serious for a moment as he takes his hands and places them on the dazed barbarian over the wound. Lady of Light, bless your servant, heal him. He has fought valiantly this day and has done as you have asked in service to you. Do not let him pass from this world. Do not let him succumb to these wounds. Heal his wounds, O Dawnflower. Let his passion burn to bring you joy, to fulfill your will.
All right. That's sweet. Out of combat, heal. Healing hands. All right. You're healed 11. So you're healed for basically about half. So pretty shook up. The frightened effect does fall off you there, Kaz. So if you want to take that off too, you can take that off.
Very nice.
And Joren will continue to pray over it, see if there's something else pressing.
Yep, that's fine. Oh, there you go. Wow, 15. Woo. There you go.
Oh, all right.
So, basically, almost as much on that one as the crit did.
I look to Joren and I give him a little bit of the upward head tilt, like, okay.
Whippa looks.
Confused, boy. The power is not mine. I am a frail old man, as you have suspected.
Whippa sort of comes forward cautiously. My young cubs, my mighty calves, you have accomplished a great, great hunt this day. Together, you have taken out the Scarred One, who has slain not only a member of our following, but has proven itself an elusive prey, a worthy prey. Come, let me show you the ways of how we may honor this animal's life and its spirit. I will show you how we may butcher this animal in such a way that its death will bring life and that its spirit will bring us strength.
Thank the land for the gift it has given us.
Droga is really interested in this too. He wants to definitely be like right behind her for this.
All right, sounds good, Bob. All right, so Whippa begins moving with expert care and precision, and to no one's surprise, Pachano is perhaps not really super interested. Thron, what about you?
This is one of our culture's like features, right? Like respect for the land. And I'm sure grandfather is also one who speaks regularly about this. So even though the glory of battle is there for me, the ceremony surrounding taking the animal's spirit in, I'm definitely there.
Pachano kind of comes over to you as you're sort of paying attention, and he looks at you and he goes, "We are hunters, not butchers. Come, let us see if there is more challenging game afoot. It's not often that we get this far away. This is a chance for us to prove ourselves. Come, brother. Join me."
Sister's teeth, Pachano. Respect the land.
We did. We showed who is the master of this realm. Is that not why Sister Cinda blessed us? Is that not why we are given the strength of our people? So that we can have domination over these beasts? They feed us, they clothe us. We wear them as armor, as weapons. They are our tools to do with as we please. Such is the gift of man.
They are also our lifeblood. We must respect the nature of this area, or we would disturb it and have no.
Do not
food or
speak to me.
resources.
Do not speak to me of our traditions, Brek. We all know of your family and your heritage. You would have us reading newspapers and riding hover cars and doing and having guns hanging from us on ropes.
Are you having a fit, Pachano? What are these things you speak of?
I'm talking.
Insanity. I speak of inclusion, and you speak of flying machines.
Yes, I am talking about those crazy, weak, decadent Southerners, the type of people that your family, your mother and father, were so happy to rub shoulders with. Tell me, how many times have you been to Hillcross? I could tell you how many times I've been. How many times any proper Kellid has been? 0.
I have much knowledge.
Kind of do the warriors like embrace of Pachano his forearms for a moment. Grandfather wants you to lead our people in all ways, not just dominating the land. The spirit is just as important as the physical well-being.
Mm-hmm.
Show us, lead us here.
Yes, my great-grandfather, over 100 of passings of winter. And look what has happened to our tribe, to our clan. Tell me, we aren't even that young, or we aren't even that old. But I hear the rumblings from the gray hairs. Each spring comes later, each winter comes sooner. The old ways, some lot of good they've done that. The spirit of these lands, they seem to be disgusted with us.
Well, perhaps that's because of people with your attitude who seek to only use.
Or maybe it's because of clinging to outdated beliefs, or turning to weak Southerners. He kind of casts a sidelong glance at Joren, to bring in strength to our people.
Better be careful. That weak summoner may save your life one day. Southerner. Summoner.
Eidolon, go!
Conjuration.
Well, have fun being butchers and pack animals. I'll see you all back at camp. And Pachano leaves.
Such a misguided soul.
Wippa kind of, as she's pulling out of her variety of tools, she says, "He is the future of our following."
And that is bleak.
We'll see.
She kind of winces for a moment and kind of rubs her stomach. Whew. Any day now. Boy, life sure is tough here in the realm, huh?
Yeah.
Could you just finish up with the cutting, lady?
Let's bring our hunt back to the tribe.
Yes. All right. Well,
See this deed done.
Yes,
she
indeed.
begins instructing you on the proper way to butcher this carcass. Keep in mind, this is a full bull moose from the realm of the Mammoth Lords. So this thing is easily 10 feet at the shoulder, right? Like, this thing is like the size of a car. So even with your help, under Wippa's careful guidance, it takes you more than several hours to butcher the carcass, removing the hide and the organs carefully, segmenting the skeleton, carving out the meat, leaving nothing to waste. All of it must be taken to camp. Nothing is left to rot or waste.
I hook up the antlers to Hunter. Here's some real horns for you. You could drag these back to camp.
All right. So since all of you sort of participated in this sort of training, you all will gain a skill feat.
Oh, wow.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, it's called All of the Animal. So it is a bonus skill feat that you guys gain.
Got it.
One of the nice things about skill feats not being that powerful is it's easy just to hand them out.
Yeah.
Ever encountered again, new skill feat.
All right. So
It's uncommon.
what's that?
It's uncommon.
Well, yeah, I think it's because it's from the AP. It's from this AP.
Very nice.
Actually, this AP is pretty cool. It has like 8 or 9 like kind of special, unique skill feats.
That's a cool feat.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. All right. With that,
That's pretty cool.
you guys return to camp.
That's interesting because I have Forager as well as a feat.
You're really good at surviving in the wild.
So I can really
It's same as me, Kaz.
yeah.
I'm like, yeah, this is like just a bonus.
It's a bonus.
All right.
Bonus.
So, it takes you a day, laden and burdened with sort of makeshift sleds and sledges to sort of carry the moose carcass back to the broken Tusk encampment. And the morning after the moose hunt is crisp and cool, and the broken Tusk camp bustles with activities as followers separate into distinct groups to take care of all of the things that take place at a Kellid camp. Some are starting fires to prepare food, including beginning to cook some of the meat that you brought back just this morning. So already they're going to begin using it to sort of feed and prepare great feasts for the coming festival of the Green Moon. Others depart, as so many do, to both try to manage and take care of the herd, as well as to forage, especially since spring is about to dawn, new shoots and small herbs and roots sort of growing. So everybody's really excited. So while everyone gets about their business, you are heard that Grandfather Iwa, as well as Letsua, who is another Mammoth Lord Elder, one of the leaders of one of the houses,
I'll
wish.
be right back. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Wish to speak to you, and they have some special tasks for you.
Yeah.
Keep them waiting, lads. You guys have a few busy days in front of you now that you're going to be scouts.
Grandfather, it's always good to sit at his feet and learn something new.
Exactly. And so here we go. Here we got. So
How
that
about you, Droga? How are you feeling now that you're about to be a scout?
About to be. I thought we were full-fledged after this.
But there has to be a ceremony, of course. It's the broken tusk. There's always a ceremony.
Me and Hunter were born for this. This is just the next stepping stone on our path to the following, making us rise out of bleakness.
Bleakness, says a voice gravelly and worn, as Grandfather Iwa sort of hobbles up to your group. His voice like rocks tumbling down a hill. Bleakness, huh? So young and eager to get on with the business of managing the clan. Young Mammoth Lord indeed, young Drogo. Still, I must say, Whippa has said very good things to me, very good things about your scout's training. She said that you may make good Mammoth Lords yourself someday if you keep to your studies and mind your ancestors. Let us hope so. Master Joren.
Respect.
Master Joren, it is good to see you.
Iwa, the one man I can call old man. Unfortunately, I must tell you, if you think that these folk will take to their studies, I should warn you that their blood runs quite hot. It will be some time before it cools enough for them to appreciate the wisdom of the land. But there was much promise today, much promise, much bravery.
Well,
Sister was most pleased.
Well, if Joren of Mendev speaks highly of the three of you, then, well, so much the better. Arriving a few minutes after you, Pachano comes up and kind of pushes past you and embraces his grandfather in sort of like a hug, and the grandfather, sort of your great grandfather, kind of puts his arms around it. Pachano says, "Great grandfather, we have honored the tribe. We have slewn the slain one, the scarred one. We've slewn the slain one. we have slain the scarred one. And we have brought back its hide, its meat, for the betterment of our people. I do this in honor of you." Good lad. But do not do it for my honor. I've had enough. Do it for your people, Pachano, as I have always said. Still, there is much to be rejoicing for. The green moon rises in 3 nights hence, and we have a great celebratory hunt preparing our way. The rest of the followings are busy, but there are 3 tasks that I would ask you to accomplish before the light of the green moon will mark you all as true broken tusks. So, if you would indulge me, I would ask that our newfound scouts help us in this manner.
That's the light. We'll help.
3 things exactly, says Letsua as he steps forward. Almost as tall as Brek, Letsua, who has a touch of elven blood, steps forward, and let me see if I have a picture of Letsua. I do. Letsua steps forward. There are 3 things that need to be accomplished, and it has fallen to you in order to accomplish these tasks. First, the ritual site at Rock Loom must be maintained. It must be secured, cleared, and scouted. The primary role of the scout is to make sure to be a sacrifice, if need be, for the betterment of the following.
My whole life for this.
I will kind of stops in. Letsua speaks truly, but remember, it has been many, many moons. Most of you were probably still children the last time that we were at Rock Loom, but it is one of our most holy sites, and it has been many seasons since we have been there. But the ancestors call to me. They say, honor us. And with the success of your hunt, and with a promise, a change in the air, I believe that the time has come that we make our way there to celebrate the night of Green Moon as our ancestors did, and as they would have us do again. Still, it has been many years since we have been there, and it would be a good idea for the 5 of you, including Pachano, to check it out. Letsua says, I don't expect there to be too much trouble, but you can never be too sure in these lands. Remember, it is a holy place, and any animals that are there are probably there due to the same spiritual resonance that brings and calls to us. You are not there to hunt, merely to observe and make sure there is no danger to the tribe. Is this understood?
Yes.
Good. That is the first task. The second task is I would have you carry, he motions, to the ceremonial vessels to the Gornok River and fill them from its sacred waters and return them for our blessings and our rituals. Pachano rolls his eyes back in his head as he's like, you want us to fetch water? I want you to complete the ritual as it was ordained by our ancestors.
I turn to Pachano. I could carry some urns quite easily.
Pachano just shakes his head.
That's for young men.
Oh, it's all right, young Pachano. Not everyone is up to the task. I'll carry your share because you're part of the team.
Is there no one else that could be doing this? Is there no hunt that we should be proceeding on? Is there no greater task, greater challenge?
All challenges are just as equally great for the tribe, Pachano. You believe that strength is for the strong, but no, our strength is for the weak.
Let me actually bring up Pachano here. I got it. He even looks
See he's a little like
This guy. This effing guy.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
when I was a lad, I had 5 dozen eggs.
Yeah, it looks like Gaston. Yeah, exactly. Iowa says, lastly, there is a difficult task, maybe something that hopefully Droga can help you with. Whippa has begun to have her first set of movements. She cannot take this, but there's an opportunity that we cannot risk to avoid. We cannot afford to lose. This has nothing to do with the ceremony, but nearby there's a let's see what kind of stops in. We've found a nearby small group of tapirs, hooved animals, kind of like weird ant ear type creatures. They're real, but they're also here too. These are important to join our herd. You see, the tapirs will naturally run towards any source of water, and much faster than our mammoths. If something was waiting in the water, say a massive beast, a water creature, an alligator, or something even more foul, the tapirs would get killed first before our mammoths.
Indeed.
Like a
Listen,
meat shield.
It's an effective tactic.
he says,
All creatures must eat.
yes, he says, tapirs are plentiful. Mammoths are not. Broken tusks are certainly not. If the mammoths were to ever be, I doubt they would ever truly be harmed by such a creature, such an attack from the water, but they could be frightened. And that's even more scary, because the last thing that the broken tusks need is a stampede. But I would ask that you try to domesticate the tapirs if you can, or trap them and capture them and take them by force if you must. And we could try to work them into our herd some other way. If you are going to go after the tapirs, I recommend taking Immick with you. And you you have a little bit of like a sort of a, I don't know what to say. Maybe you tell me what your reaction is. Immick is a little girl.
Okay.
But
Squirrel girl.
but
Porcupines, bro. Porcupines. Where'd you get squirrels from, brother?
I was
Have
making
you
a
seen
reference.
animals before? Do you know what a squirrel is?
I was making a
He
reference
thinks
to
everything's
Marvel.
a squirrel.
Perhaps we would be better served to teach Hunter yet another mating call rather than bringing a little girl on a hunt.
Well, it is known throughout the following that Immick is a precocious, young, probably 10-year-old girl, but it seems basically that she could talk to animals, right? She's just
She's
like
an animal whisperer.
yeah, she's basically an animal whisperer. So, it's up to you if you take her with you, but she could help you potentially in your task. So you have 3 days. I don't particularly care what order you can tackle them in, but I would appreciate it if you could try to get all 3 done before the night of Green Moon. The sacred water must be recovered. Loom should definitely be scouted, and if you could manage, as our would-be pseudo-new scouts, capture the tapirs, that would be most helpful.
I think as our first action as a scout, scouting should be the first thing we do. Why don't we scout our ancient burial grounds and clear the way?
Don't we have to carry the water to the ancient burial grounds?
No, you have to bring the water back here.
Okay.
Basically, each time you're just coming back here. You're not going to carry the water around for 3 days. That's not.
The water should certainly be our priority because it is the absolutely necessary ingredient.
Yeah, but I feel like we should find these tapirs first, because if there's something in the water we're about to go get, they'll find it first. So we should get the tapirs before water.
The tapirs won't be coming with you. You're not going with the whole herd to the river.
Right.
I don't know why we wouldn't take a tapir with us to check out the water.
Because they're a valuable resource.
The
to protect
tapirs,
the herd.
The tapirs aren't the tapir. The Iowa kind of looks at you. He goes, "Young Droga, you are young." I don't know how to. He kind of looks at Joren and sort of nods his head. He goes, "It's important that we have this conversation. You are this following's tapirs.
That is what the scout team is.
Does this make sense?
You are wise.
Aaron Yeager would be disappointed.
Sorry, I was just typing something in chat. It is an honorable task, a noble task, but it is ultimately a dangerous one. Many scouts do not live long. Whippa is close to her 50th year, and she is one of the best that we have ever had. But even her husband, Wehotan, who is also very good, just left us just a few short weeks ago. The life that the three of you have been called to is certain to test. Life in the realm is beautiful, but it can be brutal as well. You will be asked to put yourself into danger, to take risks that the following could never afford to take, to deal with the challenges that we are incapable of dealing with, and if need be, to lay down your life that the following may survive. Remember this, for in 3 days' time hence, at the night of the green moon, at ancient rock Loom, you will be formally inducted into this life and will be expected to serve your following unto death. Good. Then go. You have 3 days. I know that you've been out for a few days. Take provisions as you need them. See to that you get what you require. Perhaps a healing kit. And I would hope that you would make for either Rock Loom, the Tapir Grove, or the river by morning light. Gentlemen, if you'll excuse me, Joren, may I have a word with you?
Of course.
See you later, old man.
I'll catch you later, son. Lads, good work today. Good
I'll
work.
go and share like a drink with Panaku.
Pachano.
Pachano, sorry.
That's fine. It's all right. First session, weird names.
No.
It's going to take a while. We'll have like a list somewhere here where it shows everybody's thing.
Now, Brek is going to go make sure that some of the moose spoils make it to, the weak and the elderly and hungry.
Oh, well, the following's pretty good. I mean, they're very...
Well, just mean if he's leaving, he goes and helps.
Tim's getting
With
so
that kind of
pissed
stuff.
in playing utopian societies where everything's fine.
Got it.
Yes.
Right, they have nothing, and so it's split up evenly.
Right. Well, I'm trying to be a part of that. That's why.
Everyone gets nothing.
Some people are clearly not trying to be a part of that. So that's why I'm making a point to be part of it.
And offer him some wine from my skin.
You always have the best stuff.
They don't make it up here like they do down south. Say what you will about them weak southerners.
Weak Southerners, strong drink. Perhaps the two things go hand in hand.
I would agree with that.
Yes, the consumption is taking me too. Joren of Mendev, I would speak with you. In 3 days' time, we will indoctrinate these 4 young lads into the life of scouts.
The tribe could do worse.
It has been 20 years, Joren of Mendev. It is my intention to give you a pendant as well.
That's not necessary.
It may not be necessary, but the spirits and the ancestors demand it. You speak for Sister Cinder now. You did not come here by chance. You were called. And there are only 2 types of people in this land. Those that listen to the spirits and dead.
There's not much difference between myself and the dead.
Spoken Spoken like a man that is on a mission from God.
I cannot speak to what the sister's plans for me are. She never did bother to share them with me.
As such is the way of the gods. It is not for us to question their design. It is for us to listen and to do as best as we can. I could feel it 101 years on these plains. I feel like I can see my ancestors with my waking eyes. Perhaps it is a sign that I am soon to join them, but in the meantime, it means that I can listen and hear them more clearly than I ever have. And they are telling me something. They are telling me that something is coming.
I suppose when you're as close to the door as you are, it's quite easy to hear through it.
Exactly.
Something's always coming, my old friend. There's always something new, something horrible, something good sometimes.
This is different. I do not wish to share more with you now, but I will say this. Your Whipper will have her child soon. And with the death of her husband, well, let's just say that there's always time to fix mistakes. There's always time for second chances.
To live as long as you have to get that perspective, I suppose it would be a blessing in its own way.
Oh, if you had the kind of arthritis I had, you'd say it's a curse.
That's why you need to get some strapling use like these three. Well, I guess the fourth one isn't that bad either, but
Pachano
carry.
is headstrong, intemperate.
He'll learn. They all learn.
I wish he was more like his friend Thron. Strong, dedicated, a little crazy, but I must ask you another thing. As you know, Thron carries within him the spirit of the Berserker.
Does he understand what that means for him?
I do not know, but you have seen it with your own eyes. You know what could happen to him. His strength, like that of the mammoth, is unparalleled. But just like our mammoths, if allowed to run unchecked, should fear and anger and doubt and confusion take hold in his mind, well, then like the stampede of the mammoth, it could very well be this following's demise.
He has a good heart, temperance. He has learned balance and control, and does not have the arrogance of his brother. Not yet, at least.
Well, good. But I would ask that you keep an eye on him, too, if possible. He could be a mighty mammoth lord someday.
I will do as you ask.
Thank you for the drink, my friend. I look forward to speaking with you again. I enjoy your trip out into the wilds. I know you do enjoy getting some alone time, even if it is going to be with these youths.
It'll be fine. It'll be nice to someone fetch me some water. After all, I am the old man.
Indeed.
See you in 3 days, my friend.
He extends his hand out to you, grasping your forearm, and in the way of the broken tusks, in the way of the Kellid people. 3 days. And then a new beginning. He kind of raises the last of his drink to new beginnings. All right. And with that, he retires to his tent, and Joren, you prepare to make your preparations.
Yeah, quite a healer's kit.
Yeah. And we are going to end it there as we come up on 9 o'clock. So so it seems like a pretty good stopping spot. So we are going to go ahead.
Short sesh.
Well, 9 o'clock is our usual stopping time. So,
I thought we ran till 10.
We usually do, but in this case, we ending at a really good spot. And this is kind of a good spot to end.
Well, and I think we should, as a party, discuss what we would like to go forward first next
It's
time.
true.
Yeah.
Are we going to go for task 1, 2, or 3?
Well, the other thing, so the other thing I want to do here at the end, and another reason I kind of wanted to end it, end the session early, is I kind of want to go around. I think this is kind of important for people at home. It's kind of important for people to observe this as well. So session 1 has occurred, and you guys have gotten a chance to sort of see some of the things that are going on inside of the campaign. And rather than start off the campaign with just a bunch of questions, do you guys have any questions or metagame stuff that we can ask, that we can talk about, things that we can sort of clear up? Because now that you've had an opportunity to meet some of these people, deal with some of these things, I think it's important, as an example for people at home, that we sort of showcase these sort of elements.
Still not allowed to use strength for intimidate. Is that...
Yeah, so I think that's so Kaz, I think that's a really cool, a great example and a point, and sort of kind of provide context for people at home. Kaz originally took Raging Intimidation for his barbarian because he kind of thought it worked like the way it did in Pathfinder 1, where essentially it allowed you to use your strength for intimidation. And we thought, I was like, oh, that is such a cool idea. There already are, and if you're familiar with Raging Intimidation for the barbarian, it's actually a pretty weak feat. Intimidation uses charisma, which barbarians aren't great at, and they can't even use it while they're raging because it has the concentration trait. So all Raging Intimidation allows you to do is essentially rage, as to be able to do it while you rage. It doesn't actually give you enough, give you enough bonus or anything like that. And we were pointing out that there are other feats in the game that allow you to like use nature for medicine, or the alchemist, the chirurgeon has a thing that lets them use craft for medicine. And we're like, why don't they just let the barbarian who takes that feat use athletics for intimidation? Because that seems way cooler. And I think one of the things that we are going to see, that you are going to be able to kind of join us as we go through this journey, is, this campaign might take 25, maybe 30 sessions, assuming we don't TPK. And, in my home game, I tend to make a lot of house rules. But, for YouTube and for people at home who really want to see it, it's a little bit tricky, right? Because if we introduce a lot of house rules, it can get confusing for new viewers. It can be kind of like, well, hey, like it's cool that they're playing this way, but it doesn't really apply apples to apples to my campaign because they are using all these house rules. But at the same time, I think part of the great enjoyment of role-playing games is just that. It's making the game your own and exploring and sort of, shaping it to your needs, right? And because it's not a competitive game, and you can take that opportunity. So I'm kind of curious, how do you guys feel about that, mentality or that ethos?
I mean, as long as I think that it's like when you're watching kind of a sci-fi, once you've established the universe, as long as whatever changes that you're making fit within that scope of the universe that you're in, I really like them, right? Like, it wouldn't make a lot of sense to have, wisdom be allowable in or intellect. Like, oh, it's a particularly witty retort, now I'm intimidated. Doesn't make a lot of sense in this. If we were doing some sort of high court thing, maybe then. So I really like them because maybe I've always been a lot, just as a player, much more flexible with the rules. I don't like cheating,
right?
Because then why are you playing? But saying, strength can be used for intimidate makes a lot of sense in our context. We're in a barbarian society, so on and so forth. So I think that they're, in any opportunities where people out there are exploring changes to their rule set, do think about the universe that you're in. But they're fluid systems, right?
Sure.
And I think that can be leveraged.
I also think it would depend on like what you're doing, like strength being intimidation. Like if you just like smashed that moose, and someone else is watching, they're like, okay.
Right. Right.
Like you flexed it down on them. It's like, okay, well, I can see the strength being intimidating in that exact context.
Right. Exactly. And, one thing I give this example a lot, but back in our original Rise of Runelords campaign, there was an intimidating strike from the fighter. All right, intimidating strike, 2 actions. If you hit, the enemy's frightened. If you critically hit, they're frightened too. And our fighter used it and crit and killed the goblin. So it's frightened too and dead. And I was like, oh, that was awesome. You come in, you cut its head off in an intimidating strike. All the other goblins become intimidated, become frightened 1.
Yep.
Now that's not how that feat works. There is no AoE intimidating strike, feat, and that's definitely not the way that works. But it just felt like in the moment so cool,
awesome.
But there is
flourishing strike or something used to be a thing.
But that is tricky because Pathfinder 2, right? You want these decisions that the players are making to matter, and if you're always just kind of throwing everything to the wind and going willy-nilly, you can kind of lose some of that, So I think it is interesting. It's kind of an interesting thing. Smith, you have any thoughts?
So I got a mixed mind on this, right?
Yep.
Because I'm also probably the hardest one here that says don't house roll, right? And my main reason for that is because we have an audience watching, and part of the fun is watching the game and understanding what's going on in the game. And listen, I think we had some great dialogue today. We had some interesting conversations, people talking, learning about stuff. It was good, right? But this is Pathfinder. People, they're tuning in because they want to see character builds, go out and smash tokens and roll dice, right? Like, let's just call it what it is. This isn't a 5th edition channel. It is 5e compatible, though.
Oh, hey-o. 5e
hey,
compatible.
5e. You heard it here, folks. It's 5e compatible.
Send us your views and your money. Okay. So that's where I'm coming from, because obviously you guys know, you've all been my players.
Right. You use house rules all the time.
House roll a lot. We're playing a house roll campaign.
Correct.
Book full of house rules.
Like in principle, that's part of the fun of tabletop role-playing games, is making it your own. You should do that. Playing just with the core book, that is boring, right? Because what do you want to do here, right? You want to make this your personal story. And it's not just like your story, the story of what's happening, but also like the mechanics expressing that, right? I have this ability because this thing occurred at the table where I took an action and rolled dice, and everyone's like, oh, that was awesome. You should totally have this thing. And the demon was like, absolutely. And now this happened and it's real. I didn't pick this out of a book. I didn't go find some broken feet recommendation, some class build on a website. This happened and it's unique and it's never going to happen again, right? That's a cool thing. That can only happen in games like this. You can't do that in a video game, right? You're not going to see that in a book or whatever like that. It doesn't even make sense, right? But only in a medium like this. So of course that's awesome. It should happen. We just got to find that balance, right? Where we can explain that to the people watching. And they're like, whoa, how's the barbarian using that strength for his rage? And again, it's a minor thing, but what we need to avoid, I think this happened with the last campaign, is just like, the rules were so complex. What are these hero points do?
Right.
What's happening?
Yeah. Hero points were on a different level. So,
that's my advice. I love things like the Yeti clock, right? That's going to be simple visually to understand. People will get it. It's a great opportunity for us to talk about clocks and how amazing they are, because that's really part of our job, and we're not trying to sell 5R or Dungeon World. We're selling clocks. So it's like things like that I love, right? As long as we can explain it really well and naturally lead the audience along with us, I think it's fine. In fact, we should do it.
Right. So. I agree. I'm all on board. So, that's kind of a way that I kind of want to preface this as we sort of start to find our footing, which is, go on this journey with us. Hopefully you're watching from the beginning. We're going to try to, keep the game Pathfinder 2 focused. But ultimately what makes role-playing games a lot of fun is the ability to make them your own, and to see something, say, yeah, I can do that. I can do that better. And I could do that in a way that is going to make more sense. It's going to be more fun. So very, very excited to see that. So before we close up here, I'm I wanted to give a shout out to Grimblack0, who tipped $66.60. A distant echo rocks throughout the snows for the forge.
Oh.
Boom. And then a classic loyal good friend of the show, Combat Medic Bush, also tipped $20. So thank you for that as well. We also picked up a bunch of subscribers. By the way,
I saw that.
Yeah, sorry. I thought I turned off that sound, but apparently I left that sound on. So when everybody, it wasn't like it was every 5 seconds, but whenever we were getting a subscriber, you were getting a little like boop, boop, boop. And it was a lot louder than I intended it to be. So I apologize for that. I did turn that off as we were going through the middle of it. Yeah. So, again, we're cutting this a little bit short. I'm actually not feeling well. So, I'm suddenly really, really hot and I'm sweating and I'm feeling very ill.
It's the moose. It's the moose heat.
So here's what we're going to do though. After a call, or after a show, for our patrons who are champion tier or higher, that's our $10 and our $25 champion and hero tiers, they get invited to join our after party, and they get to join this Zoom call, actually, which we keep going, and they get to come in and hang out with us and video chat and speak with us and talk with us about the session and ask questions and get any sort of behind the scenes stuff or talk about stuff that just happened. So it's a really cool perk for being one of our higher tiers in our Patreon. So if you're interested in that, definitely for next time, get involved with that. And also another thing to keep in mind is we are doing this campaign every other Tuesday. And the reason we're doing that is because we want to make room in our production schedule to do something that isn't just Pathfinder 2. On this channel that we talk a lot about games. That we talk about a lot of different types of role-playing games. And we really want to get a chance to showcase that as well. And so we're going to be using those time slots to help pick up some other games as well. So let us know in the comments below if there's a couple that we've talked about on the show that you might be interested. We know we've polled our patrons in the Discord, and they've let us know which ones they are interested in. But if you're watching this later and you're not a member or a patron, leave a comment, let us know. So that is going to be that. We're going to go to our live stream show, but I am going to maybe not be there.
You get a cold wash rag.
Yeah.
So,
Yikes, dude.
I want to say it's been a hell of a weird live stream, episode 1 all the way. Aaron's mic died. Tim's fire alarm went off. I might puke right here on the screen.
Oh my goodness.
So
You check. Watch Derek puke on the screen.
New tip goal.
Yeah. Oh.
So I want to say thank you to everybody who tipped, everybody who joined in, everybody who super chatted, and everybody who's a member of the Adventurers Alliance, a proud adventurer of the Knights of Last Call for joining the adventure. So thank you so much for all of your amazing support. And to all of our wonderful patrons, squires, knights, champions, and heroes, you're definitely the reason this show exists, literally the reason this show exists. So if you're not a member of our Patreon and you want to thank anybody, don't thank us. Thank the patrons. They're the reason this show is happening. So, and last but not least, thank you to my players. Thank you guys for showing up. And thank you for putting together what seemed to be a really cool party. And you guys did a great job. And I look forward to playing this campaign with you.
Yeah, thanks for running again.
Same.
See everybody in the after party.
All right, everybody. Thanks
right.
so much for joining us. We'll see you Thursday. I'm assuming I'm not dead for our normal live stream, but we'll see this show in 2 weeks. So thanks a lot. And Steven with a last minute $10 tip. Please don't puke.
Yeah.
And that puts us over $200. So thank you so much, Steven. Really appreciate it. Many blessings from Sister Cinder, and we'll see you guys next time.